I truly believe in my heart, and I would bet my life that this substance never entered my body at any point. As my name's been dragged through the mud, as everything I've ever worked for in my entire life has been called into question, there were a lot of times I wanted to come out, tell the entire story, but at the end of the day, I recognized what's actually best for the game of baseball, and I put that ahead of what was actually best for myself. We won because the truth is on my side. The truth is always relevant, and at the end of the day, the truth prevailed. I'm a victim of a process that completely broke down and failed in the way that it was applied to me in this case. We're a part of a process where you're 100% guilty until proven innocent. It's opposite of the American judicial system. This is not an innocent until proven guilty situation. So if we're held to that standard, it's only fair that everybody else is held to that exact same standard. The initial test result in question was on October 1st. It was a playoff game. I was made aware of the positive test result on October 19th, at which point I had a conversation with the Players Association. I expressed to them that I have not done anything that could have possibly led to this test result. I told them that I promise you on everything that's ever meant anything to me in my life, the morals, the values, the virtues by which I've lived for my 28 years on this planet, I did not do this. At the point that I told the Players Association about the positive test, they told me that the test result was 3 times higher than any number in the history of drug testing. We've had this program since, I believe, 2003 or 2004. I don't know how many tens of thousands of tests there have been, but the fact that there's a single number that's 3 times higher than any number in the history of drug testing made me question the validity of the result. It states in the Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program that all samples shall be taken immediately to FedEx on the day they're collected absent unusual circumstances. The reason this is important is because after we provide our samples, typically the only 2 people in the world who know whose sample it is are us, the donor, and the collector who receives our urine samples. In my case, there was an additional 3rd person, the son of the collector, who just happened to be my chaperone on the day that I was tested. The day of the test, we had a 1 o'clock game. I provided my sample at about 4:30. There were 2 other players who provided their samples that day within 10 minutes of mine. The collector left the field at about 5 o'clock. There were at least 5 FedEx locations within 5 miles of the stadium that were open until 9 p.m., and an additional FedEx location that was open for 24 hours. There were upwards of 18 or 19 FedEx locations that were open between the ballpark and his house that he could have dropped the samples off at. Why he didn't bring it in, I don't know. On the day that he did finally bring it in, FedEx opened at 7:30. Why didn't he bring it in until 1:30? I can't answer that question. Why was there 0 documentation? What could have possibly happened to it during that 44-hour period? There were a lot of things that we learned about the collector, about the collection process, about the way that the entire thing worked that made us very concerned and very suspicious about what could have actually happened.